Density is an intensive property of matter, which means that it doesn't matter how much of a substance you have in a sample, it will always have the same density, since density is the ratio of the mass to the volume. The mass and volume are extensive properties, which means that if you have more of a substance, right, the mass is going to be greater. But the ratio between the two will always be the same for that particular substance. So the density is defined as the mass divided by the volume. Mass is normally in grams. Volume is in units of milliliters or cubic centimeters. And this is because of the way we measure different substances. Solids, we usually use grams per cubic centimeter, since you can measure the volume of a solid in centimeters. If you measure the width, height, and length in centimeters. And liquids are normally measured in milliliters. So for liquids, normally the density is in grams per milliliter. The density of an object in symbols is D equals m over v. And so for a simple example, let's say we have the mass of a substance. Let's say it's 6.57 grams, and the volume is 3.12 cubic centimeters. Then we can calculate the density by dividing the mass by the volume. D equals m over v. We just plug in the numbers. 6.57 grams divided by 3.12 cubic centimeters. Take the ratio and pay attention to the units. 2.11 grams per cubic centimeter. Another type of problem you might see dealing with density is where, let's say you're given the density. In this case, density is 19.3 grams per cubic centimeter. And if you look up this density, this material is gold. Gold metal has a density of 19.3 grams per cubic centimeter. And if you're given the mass, you might be asked to find the volume. So if we have 5.26 grams of gold, what is the volume? Well, let's take the equation for density. Density equals mass over volume, and solve for the volume. So if we multiply both sides by v, you get v equals the mass divided by the density. And so we can just plug in the numbers. Or you could also find this by noticing that, okay, well, the volume is in cubic centimeters, right? That's what we're looking for. So if we divide grams by grams per cubic centimeter, then we get cubic centimeters. So 5.26 grams divided by the density, 19.3 grams per cubic centimeter. Right, grams divided by grams per cubic centimeter. Grams cancel out. You end up with units of cubic centimeters. So in this case, we get 0.273 cubic centimeters. Another version of this is if you're given the volume and the density, you may be asked to find the mass of a substance.